All right, everyone, let's go on the record. This is the time and place notice for a hearing in the matter of the petition of Sage Telecom Communications, LLC, DBA TruConnect, for designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier in the state of Utah. That's Commission Docket number 182601-01. My name is Michael Hammer, and I'm the Commission's designated presiding officer. Let's go ahead and take appearances, please, beginning with the Division of Public Utilities.
Good morning. I'm Justin Jetter with the Utah Attorney General's Office, and I'm here this morning representing the Utah Division of Public Utilities. With me at council table is Division Witness Casey Coleman.
Mr. Moore?
Robert Moore with the AG's office, representing the Office of Consumer Services. With me is Cheryl Murray of the Office of Consumer Services.
And I understand we have appearances from Sage Telecom over the telephone.
Yes, this is Nathan Johnson, co-CEO of Sage Telecom, TruConnect.
Sir, would you repeat yourself? Our court reporter didn't quite hear you.
Yes, this is Nathan Johnson, co-CEO of Sage Telecom, TruConnect.
Are there additional parties on the line?
Just Katie Zach. I was already on.
All right. And does the company intend to present a witness telephonically?
Yes. So this is Katie Zach, and I'm representing Sage Telecom, which does business as TruConnect. And I would like to ask Mr. Johnson a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Any objection to the telephonic examination, counsel?
None from the division. I think we just need to swear him in.
Of course.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Zach, you want to call Mr. Johnson as a witness, is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, can you state your full name, please?
Nathan Raymond Johnson.
And what is your position at Sage Telecom?
I'm the co-CEO and owner of the company, along with my brother, Matt Johnson, who's the other co-CEO.
Thank you. Can you provide a brief description of Sage?
Yes, we are an ETC provider of wireless service in approximately 20 states, and that's been growing over the last year. So we currently are predominantly concentrated on customer base in California and Texas, and we're expanding in a number of other states, or we have expanded a number of other states through this year and part of last year as well.
Thank you. And you filed testimony previously in this matter, correct?
That is correct.
And would your answers to those questions be substantially similar today, if asked?
Yes, they would be.
And what is your request for the Commission today?
Our request is for approval of an ETC carrier in the state of Utah.
Thank you. And in this matter, Sage Telecom, we've submitted a petition, pre-filed testimony, and exhibits that describe its application, and the parties have entered into a stipulation and settlement agreement dated July 20th, 2018. The stipulation states that the parties agree that this stipulation as a whole is just and reasonable in results and in the public interest. Mr. Johnson, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I do.
I have nothing further for Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Jetter, any questions?
I have no questions from the division. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
No questions from the office.
Ms. Zach, before we excuse your witness, do you want to just maybe ask him some questions concerning the settlement stipulation? I can do it, but if he could just give a summary or give us some background on that, I think that would be helpful for me.
Sure. So part of the, can you give me 1 second? I'm just going to turn to the appropriate page.
Sure.
On April 4th, 2018, Sage filed a petition seeking designation as an ETC in the state of Utah. As part of that, I'm sorry?
No one said anything.
As part of that, we signed a stipulation and settlement agreement that we agreed to many things, but some of them were that that Sage would use a Utah-specific fact sheet that provides customers concise and complete information about the services, that they are not seeking any state USF funding, that if they do so in the future, they will file a separate application requesting such state support, that they will comply with all applicable state service quality and consumer protection requirements, and that Sage meets and will continue to meet the requirements for federal ETC designation. And we would be happy to answer further questions.
Well, let me just ask, Mr. Johnson, are you familiar with the settlement stipulation that was filed with the commission that's dated July 20th, 2018?
Yes, I am.
And the signature for Sage Telecom is represented by Burton F. Peebles. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do.
And does he have authorization and authority for the company to execute this settlement stipulation?
Yes, he does.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Sack?
No, nothing for me. Thank you.
Mr. Jetter?
Good morning. The division would like to call and have sworn in Mr. Casey Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Coleman, would you please state your name and occupation for the record?
Sure. My name's Casey J. Coleman. I work as a utility technical consultant for the Division of Public Utilities for the state of Utah.
Thank you. And in the course of your employment with the Division of Public Utilities, have you had the opportunity to review the application and conduct any further discovery and conversations with the company regarding this application?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the settlement stipulation that was filed in this docket?
Yes.
Based on the information that you have from the application and other discovery in this docket, do you believe that it's just, reasonable in the public and in the public interest to approve the stipulation as filed?
Yes, I do.
Are you aware of any opposition or reasons that the commission should not approve this application?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Mr. Coleman's available for cross-examination.
Ms. Sack, any questions?
I have none. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
No questions from the office.
And I have nothing. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. No other witnesses, Mr. Jetter?
No other witnesses. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
The office would call and ask to have sworn in Cheryl Murray.
Ms. Murray, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Could you please state your name, business address, and whom you represent in this docket?
My name is Cheryl Murray. My address is 160 East, 300 South, Salt Lake City, and I represent the Office of Consumer Services.
In your capacity as a utility advisor at the office, did you participate in the settlement discussions resulted in the stipulation being considered today?
Yes, I did.
Is the application that Sage is seeking, in the application, is Sage seeking Utah USF support funding?
No, it is not.
Have you prepared a statement which you would like to offer as your testimony regarding the stipulation?
Yes.
Please proceed.
The Office of Consumer Services is responsible for assessing the effect of utility rate changes and regulatory actions upon residential and small commercial customers. It is with that responsibility in mind that we have evaluated TruConnect's request for limited designation as an ETC for the purpose of providing lifeline service to qualified residential customers in Utah. The office recognizes that low-income persons need access to telephone service and in general supports the ability to receive that access through wireless telephone service. In assessing TruConnect's request, we considered both the benefits to the low-income customers and the money that will be collected from telecommunications customers necessary to fund the Lifeline program. To determine whether or not the office could support TruConnect's request, we reviewed the petition, testimony, and exhibits provided by the applicant. We also submitted data requests and had discussions with company representatives. Subsequent to our review of this information, the parties entered into the stipulation and settlement agreement being presented today. In the office's judgment, the settlement is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest, and we recommend that the Commission approve it.
Are you aware of any opposition to this settlement?
No, I'm not.
That concludes my questions.
Thank you. Ms. Zach, any questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Jetter?
No, thank you.
Mr. Moore, you have no other witnesses?
No other witnesses.
All right. Is there anything else from any party before we adjourn?
Nothing from the division.
Nothing from the office.
Ms. Zach?
Nothing from Lance Steinhardt. Nope.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.